Alan stood beneath the radiant dome of the high spire. As the crown of Brightstar convened, light from the twin suns filtered through crystal arches, casting long beams across the circular chamber, where the elders of longevity sat in silent authority. Their faces bore the calm of centuries, yet their eyes were troubled. They spoke of disasters, storms that defied prediction, tremors without fault lines, cities unsettled by fear rather than war. Each account carried the same unsettling truth. These events were not random. At last, the elders rose as one and entered meditation, their staffs touching the floor in unison. The chamber dimmed as energy gathered, a low hum filling the air. Time seemed to stretch. When they returned, their expressions were grave. "There is an evil force," the crown declared slowly, "ancient, intentional, but its location is veiled, as if it wishes to be felt, yet not seen." Alan bowed his head, then looked up, resolve steadying his voice. "Then we remain what we have always been," he said, "a force that helps the people live lives of dignity, no matter what darkness rises." There was a moment of shared gratitude, a quiet strength passing between them. Maya, the computer from Alan's base, activated a hovering display of shifting terrain and energy readings. "I have a report," she said. "A volcanic structure has emerged near Palm Valley in western Brightstar." The image zoomed in molten rock, spiraling upward from once stable land. It appeared without warning. Maya continued. "No seismic buildup, no historical record of volcanic activity in that region. It rose straight out of the ground, as if placed there." Silence fell over the chamber. The elders exchanged knowing looks. Something had begun. The ground screamed before it broke. From the heart of Palm Valley, stone split open, and fire surged upward. A volcano, newborn and furious, rose from the earth, its molten core glowing like an open wound. Ash darkened the sky as tremors rippled through the valley. 7,000 settlers stood frozen in fear. They were not warriors. They were survivors, families who had already lost everything once before. They had come to western Brightstar, seeking quiet soil and a second chance. Now the land itself threatened to erase them. Lucidus and Alan didn't hesitate. "The people first," Alan said, already moving. Lucidus took to the skies, his voice amplified with calm authority, guiding evacuation routes, lifting the injured, shielding caravans from falling debris. Energy shimmered around him as he pushed back waves of heat and ash, buying precious seconds. But Alan's eyes were fixed on the volcano. If it erupted fully, there would be nowhere far enough to run. A thought struck him wild, untested, dangerous. "I'm going offshore," Alan said. "Cover the valley." Before Lucidus could respond, Alan launched himself toward the distant sea. From above, the coast looked peaceful, small dotted islands scattered like stepping stones across the water. Alan plunged beneath the surface, pressure crushing in from all sides. He reached the seabed and wrapped his arms around the smallest island, stone groaning under impossible strain. With a roar that echoed through the deep, he lifted. The ocean split as the island rose into the air, water cascading off its sides. Alan carried it back toward the land, muscles burning, mind focused on one thing only: hold it together. He positioned the island above the volcano and gently lowered it. For a heartbeat, It worked. Then lava burst from the sides, spilling violently, racing outward toward Brightstar. No, Alan shot forward. He met the eruption head-on, fists glowing. He slammed into the ground again and again, carving a massive trench through rock and soil. Each punch drove deeper, guiding the lava away from the people, forcing it into the channel he created. Heat scorched his suit. The ground shook beneath him, but the lava kept rising. For a moment, fear clawed at him. What if it's not enough? Then the air changed. Lucidus descended, hands outstretched, energy flowing like cold starlight. He cooled the molten river as it moved, turning fire into stone, sealing the trench, stabilizing the land. Where chaos had surged moments before, solid ground formed safe, walkable, real. Silence followed. Ash settled. The volcano slept. The people stared. Some fell to their knees. Others wept. Children pointed at the new land, where fire had been only moments ago. Even Alan hovered there, stunned, heart pounding, breath unsteady. I didn't know I could do that, he whispered. The eruption had left behind more than survival. The island fused with the land, creating rich, nutrient-dense soil. Forests would grow fast here. The island itself carried rare fruits and a strange, thriving ecosystem, unlike anything seen on Brightstar before. The settlers returned not as refugees, but as founders. They named the place Mountain Island, and together they began again on new land, forged by fire, strength, and an idea that should never have worked, but did. Alan sat quietly in a small coffee shop, overlooking a sunlit plaza, his white E-Warrior suit oddly out of place among polished tables and soft music. A plate of sweets rested before him, rich pastries, warm and sugary, something indulgent enough to dull the sharp edge of memory. What had happened at Palm Valley would need to be archived, studied, filed away by the elders. Yet something about that volcano unsettled him. It had risen out of nothing. No warning, no natural cause. There was something wrong about it, something almost magical, as if it had been summoned rather than born. Alan watched people pass by outside the window, laughing, talking, living their calm, ordinary lives. Cobb lives, untouched by cosmic threats, and yet, despite being surrounded by warmth and noise, he felt a hollow space inside himself. Something was missing. His gaze settled on a father walking by, his young daughter perched easily on his shoulders. She laughed freely, gripping his hair without fear. The trust between them was effortless, pure. Alan felt his chest tighten. Brightstar still held great spirit unions, despite all the chaos. Love endured, but it was the way the child trusted her father, how safe she felt, that struck him deepest. What would it be like, he wondered, to have a daughter of my own? E-Warriors rarely had children. How could they? Lives were short, battles endless. And Alan had never even tried, especially not since gaining his powers. For just a moment, he allowed himself to imagine a normal life. Then reality tore open. A ripple of energy flashed in front of him, and Brenda appeared, standing directly across the table. No one screamed. No one even looked up. Appearances like this were normal now. Chaos followed E-Warriors the way weather followed seasons. Even Alan, sitting casually in full armor with a cup of coffee, barely drew attention anymore. What are you doing here, Brenda? Alan asked, lowering his voice. I came to find you, she said urgently. There's something you need to know. Granite Kingdom is in great danger. Granite, Alan straightened. What's happening? It's being attacked from within, Brenda replied. The people have changed for the worse. I can feel manipulation at work. Alan frowned. The elders sensed something like that here, a dark force they couldn't pinpoint. It's showing itself subtly in granite, she said. I fought a massive demon there, one powerful enough to destroy even E-Warriors. Alan's eyes widened. That kind of strength could end worlds. I think he was testing me, Brenda said quietly. Alan exhaled. This is hard to believe, but I know you're telling the truth. Before he could say more, Brenda stiffened. I'm being called away. And just like that, she vanished. Alan knew she would return, but before he could dwell on it, Maya's voice echoed in his mind. Alan, emergency report. What Maya showed him made his blood boil. Nigeria was in crisis. Thousands of civilians faced drought and starvation, held hostage by their own military, forced to remain in barren lands, while water access was deliberately blocked. Alan couldn't believe it. Who rules Nigeria? He asked. Who rules Nigeria? He asked. King Nabas II, Maya replied. He believes the weak should be called. Less mouths to feed, according to his decree. Insanity. Alan flew to Nigeria at once. He confronted the king in his stone hall. We can do better than this, Alan said firmly. Why are you letting your people suffer when you could intervene and change everything? Nabas sneered. I am king of Nigeria, Alan of Brightstar. I command life and death here. Mind your own world. I've been appointed guardian of planet June, Alan replied. All of it, every people, including Nigeria, including you. You're an insane flying man. Nabas spat. A freak accident. Intervene, and you'll regret it. Alan looked at him steadily. One rise, he said calmly. You'll thank me for this. Stop, Nabas warned. If you proceed, you'll be declared an enemy of Nigeria. Not Nigeria, Alan corrected. Just its stubborn king. He left the throne room and flew to the droughtlands. There, he struck the land again and again, drilling deep, until he found the massive stone blockage diverting the water. With precise, thunderous blows, he shattered it, carving tunnels and channels until water surged back into the land. The people cried out in disbelief. As rivers returned to cracked soil, soldiers rushed in, weapons raised. Alan moved faster than thought, stripping them of arms, dodging fire, dismantling squads without killing a single one. They were left bruised, humiliated, and alive. Alan returned to the palace. You play with people's lives, he told Nabas. You have a responsibility to ensure they live with dignity. You can be a better king. Then he flew into the sky. Behind him, Nabas clenched his fists, rage twisting his face. One rise, the king growled. I'll find a way to clip those wings of yours. And far away, unseen, something dark listened and smiled. How did the mission go? Maya asked, her voice calm but searching. As well as it could be expected, Alan replied. He removed his gloves and rested his hands on the console, exhaustion finally catching up to him. Maya studied the data streams, hovering in the air. You should know. Your actions have created division. Your heroics in Nigeria are already spreading across the networks. Alan looked at her. I couldn't just let them die. I know, Maya said gently. But worlds will hear of this, Rigerians and others across planet June will expect your intervention from now on. They will depend on it. Let them, Alan said without hesitation. That's why I'm here. That's why I became an E-Warrior. Maya's light dimmed slightly. And your desire one day to have children, a family of your own. The question lingered. Alan thought of the father in the plaza, of the child's laughter, of the life he would never fully live. Then he exhaled. If I choose myself, he said quietly, millions, maybe trillions of children won't even get the chance to grow up. He straightened, resolve settling into place. My life has to be about more than what I want. It has to be about making sure others can live with dignity. Maya was silent for a moment, then she spoke softly. Then you truly understand what it means to be an E-Warrior, and somewhere beyond Brightstar, unseen forces shifted because a man had chosen everyone over himself.